Let me teach this so deep that your soul wakes up. People are waiting for a moment, waiting for a miracle, but let me tell you something. You don't need a miracle. You need a decision. You need to push yourself. Make it happen. Self-discipline is the foundation of all lasting success. You can dream big. You can speak affirmations. You can pray fervently. But if you do not train yourself to be consistent, to be diligent, and to be accountable to the calling on your life, then all of your potential will remain locked up like treasure in a vault with no key. Self-discipline is that key. We live in a generation that is obsessed with motivation, but what people need is not motivation. They need structure. Motivation is emotional. It rises and falls. It comes and goes like a wave. One moment you're inspired, and the next moment you're distracted. One day you're ready to conquer the world, and the next day you're too tired to get out of bed. That's why you can't rely on motivation alone to build your destiny. You must develop a system within yourself, a standard of discipline that does not move based on how you feel but is anchored in who you are becoming. You don't need more information. You don't need another online course, another motivational speaker, another goal-setting app. What you need is a commitment to mastery. That commitment requires self-discipline. You have to train your mind to obey your purpose. You have to command your habits to submit to your higher calling. You have to say, I don't care how I feel this morning. My feelings are not the CEO of my destiny. My discipline is. You see, many people pray for breakthroughs, but they don't prepare for breakthroughs. You want doors to open, but you haven't conditioned your character to handle what's on the other side of those doors. You say, Lord, I'm ready for the next level. But the truth is, if God gave you the next level with your current habits, your current work ethic, your current distractions, and your current comfort zones, you would sabotage the blessing with your lack of preparation. Discipline is what builds the container to hold what you're asking God to pour. Self-discipline is not sexy, it's not glamorous, it's not fun, it's waking up when your body says, sleep more. It's working when your friends are partying. It's studying when the world is scrolling. It's grinding in private while others are shining in public. But here, discipline will produce in your life what talent never will. Discipline keeps showing up when talent gets bored. Discipline keeps working when giftedness gets tired. Discipline sustains what passion begins. There's a danger in relying too heavily on passion without discipline. Passion burns hot but fast. Discipline is the slow fire that refines you, molds you, and strengthens you for the long haul. If you rely only on how excited you feel to do something, you will never finish anything. The enemy of your destiny is not always the devil. Sometimes the enemy is your own inability to master yourself. The inability to delay gratification, the inability to focus, the inability to say no to lesser things so you can say yes to greater things. Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. It's building the muscle of saying not yet, so that when the time comes you can say, now I'm ready. There are blessings you're praying for that God is withholding not because He doesn't love you, but because He loves you too much to let your lack of discipline destroy the very thing you asked for. God will not promote you beyond your ability to manage. And management starts with self. Some of you are trying to manage businesses, marriages, ministries, platforms, and promotions, but you can't even manage your morning routine. You can't lead nations if you can't lead yourself. You can't command influence if you don't command your impulses. Self-discipline is not about being perfect. It's about being responsible. It's about stewarding your energy, your time, your thoughts, and your actions in a way that aligns with your purpose. Let me tell you something. Every successful person you admire, every leader you follow, every entrepreneur, every author, every athlete, every creative mind, you know what they all have in common. They made a decision to do what needed to be done whether they felt like it or not. They did not wait to be in the mood. They created the mood through movement, Motion leads to emotion, and momentum is the child of consistency. Self-discipline will not make you famous overnight, but it will make you faithful. And faithfulness over time will do more for your life than any flash of fame ever could. Faithfulness builds credibility. It builds character. It builds capacity. And God blesses capacity. If you want to grow, you've got to go beyond how you feel. You've got to decide, this is who I am, this is what I do, and I will not let today be wasted because my emotions are fragile. You have a calling, you have a gift, you have a responsibility. And the vehicle that will carry your calling to its destination is not wishful thinking. It is daily discipline. So don't you wait for life to get easier. You must get stronger. Push yourself. Stay planted. Stay focused and do the work, even when you don't feel like it. That's how you build a life that honors your potential and unlocks the favor of God. Pain is not your enemy. It is your instructor. It is not the thing that's trying to kill you. It's the thing trying to build you. You see, everybody wants to grow, but nobody wants to be uncomfortable. Everybody wants to reach greatness, but nobody wants to endure what greatness demands. Yet I came to tell you today that growth does not come from convenience. It comes from confrontation. Confrontation with your limits. Confrontation with your laziness. Confrontation with your fears. And those confrontations are always uncomfortable. They are always painful, but they are always necessary. When a seed goes into the ground, it breaks. It doesn't bloom until it's buried. It doesn't sprout until it's pressed. And likewise, some of you are in the dark right now. You feel buried. You feel forgotten. You feel cracked open and broken in pieces. But God is not punishing you. He's planting you. He's using that pressure to prepare you for promotion. That discomfort, that struggle, that adversity, it's not the end. It's the beginning of your becoming. The pain is proof that transformation is taking place. Too many people want God to change their circumstances, but God is using those very circumstances to change them. We say, God, take the pain away. But He says, no, I'm going to take the weakness out of you through the pain. Because there are some strengths you will never develop in peace. There is some wisdom you will never gain without weeping. There is some oil you will never carry until you've been crushed. If you want to carry the weight of purpose, you have to be willing to endure the weight of the process. Pain stretches us. It expands our capacity. It sharpens our focus. It cuts away the excess. You didn't even know how strong you were until that storm hit. You didn't know how deep your faith was until everything familiar fell apart. That heartbreak wasn't just about loss. It was about leadership. That failure wasn't just about rejection. It was about redirection. And sometimes when God is trying to pull greatness out of you, He will allow pain to push you. You see, pressure reveals what comfort hides. As long as everything is easy, you can pretend, you can fake discipline, you can fake belief, you can fake effort. But when pressure comes, it exposes your truth. That's why pain is valuable, not because it feels good, but because it tells you the truth. It tells you what you're made of. It tells you where you're lacking. It tells you what you need to fix, to grow, to heal. You won't learn that in success. You won't learn that on the mountaintop. You learn that in the valley, in the dark, in the crushing. Don't run from the pain. Don't hide from it. Don't numb it. Don't suppress it. Lean into it. Learn from it. Let it teach you. Let it refine you. God never wastes pain. If He allows it, He will use it. Every tear has purpose. Every scar tells a story, and every wound, when surrendered, can become a well of wisdom for someone else. Your pain can preach if you let it. Your pain can minister if you give it meaning. The most powerful people you will ever meet are not the ones who have never been through anything. It's the ones who have survived everything and still kept their heart open, still kept their faith alive, still kept pushing, even when it hurt to move. That kind of strength doesn't come from books. It doesn't come from titles. It doesn't come from degrees. It comes from battles. It comes from broken nights and silent prayers and lonely roads where quitting looked easier but purpose screamed louder. And let me tell you something, if you're in pain right now, you're in the middle of progress. Don't let the enemy lie to you and say it's over. It's not over, it's just hard, and hard doesn't mean hopeless. It means holy ground because God is doing something sacred in you. He's growing you in ways you can't see yet. The pain may be loud, but purpose is louder. You just have to endure, push through, keep walking. Because when the dust settles, when the season shifts, when the night breaks, what will rise from that pain will not be the same version of you that went into it. You'll be wiser, you'll be stronger, you'll be clearer. You'll be more compassionate, more grounded, more disciplined. That's what pain does when it's processed properly. It produces transformation. So instead of asking, why me? Start asking, what is this teaching me? Because if you listen closely, the pain is not mocking you. It's mentoring you. You cannot reach purpose without pressure. You cannot fulfill destiny without development. And development doesn't happen in ease. It happens in struggle. It happens in late nights and lonely hours and long days where you feel like quitting, but you keep going anyway. That's where champions are born. That's where visionaries are forged. That's where leaders are refined, not in luxury, but in labor. So don't despise the pain. Don't curse the crushing. You are being shaped, molded, and matured for something far greater than your comfort. Push through. Push in, push past it, because the version of you on the other side of this pain is more powerful than you've ever imagined. Excuses are the most dangerous lies because we tell them to ourselves and believe them. They sound reasonable, they feel justified, but they are silent killers of purpose. You don't recognize their damage right away because they wrap themselves in logic. They wear the disguise of timing, circumstance, and self-protection. But underneath that costume is sabotage, and the longer you entertain them, the deeper they entrench themselves into your habits, your identity, and your destiny. You tell yourself, I'm too old, I'm too young, I didn't come from the right family, I don't have the money, I don't have the connections, I'm not good enough, I don't have time. But let me tell you something. Your excuse is not the truth. It is a limitation you've agreed to live with. You've built your life around it. You've adjusted your dreams to fit it, and now you call it wisdom when really it's just fear with a college degree. Excuses are elegant lies. They sound intellectual. They sound safe. But all they do is give you permission to stay where you are. They become the walls of a prison that's built from your own voice. You prayed for purpose. You prayed for open doors, but you won't walk through them because your excuses convinced you you're not ready. You're not too late. You're not too broken. You're not too far behind. But if you keep feeding your excuses, you will be. You have to stop using your story as a sentence and start using it as a strategy. Yes, you've been through pain. Yes, people let you down. Yes, the road has been hard. But don't let that be the reason you shrink. Let it be the reason you rise. Some of you have made your trauma your identity. You've allowed a painful season to define your permanent self. But you are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become in spite of what happened to you. God gave you the power of choice, and that means even when you can't control what comes against you, you can control how you respond. Your future doesn't need your excuse. It needs your decision. You don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to stop letting your excuses talk you out of action. Because destiny responds to discipline, not delay. We waste so much time trying to perfect our conditions before we move. When I get more money, then I'll start. When I feel more confident, then I'll apply. When I have more time, then I'll pursue it. But life doesn't wait for your perfect moment. Life rewards the person who moves with what they have, where they are, even if it's messy and uncertain. You're not stuck. You're just scared. And your excuse gives you a safe place to hide. But listen to me, nothing about greatness is safe. Nothing about purpose is convenient. If you're waiting for everything to line up perfectly before you act, you'll still be waiting 10 years from now. At some point, you've got to stand up and say enough. I've wasted too much time lying to myself. I've played small for too long. I've underestimated what God can do through me. That's the day your life begins to change. Excuses give you comfort, but they cost you your calling. They lower your standards, they dull your hunger, and they blind you to opportunity. While you're busy explaining why you can't, somebody else with fewer resources, less experience, and more grit is already doing it. Excuses don't make your life easier. They just make you feel better about settling for less. You were not created to settle. There's a reason your spirit is restless. There's a reason you keep feeling pulled toward something more. That's purpose calling your name. That's destiny knocking at the door. But purpose doesn't respond to excuses. It responds to execution. You've got to move past how you feel and into what you know. You know there's more in you. You know you've been called to greater, but knowledge without action becomes frustration. Break up with your excuses. Divorce the story that keeps telling you later. Fire the voice in your head that keeps lowering the bar. Your mind is a battlefield, and every time you choose the excuse, you lose ground. But every time you choose discipline, every time you choose faith, every time you choose action, you win back a piece of your future. Stop rehearsing what you lack and start recognizing what you have. You have breath in your body. You have a mind that can think. You have experience that taught you lessons. You have time. Yes, you do. Maybe not all day, maybe not all week, but you have a moment, and if you'll push past your excuse and seize that moment, God can multiply it. No more delays, no more justification, no more waiting on the right time. The right time is when you decide to stop lying to yourself. That's when the shift begins. That's when the weight lifts. That's when the momentum starts to build. You don't need easier circumstances. You need a stronger mindset. You don't need more time. You need more truth. And the truth is, you can do this. You are capable. You are called. You are chosen. But you must stop telling yourself why you can't and start showing yourself that you can. Excuses are the language of fear, but action, that's the language of faith. You keep saying you're waiting on God, but what if I told you God is waiting on you? You've been fasting, you've been praying, you've been asking for a breakthrough. But what good is a breakthrough if you're not in position to walk through it? You say, God, show me a sign. He already did. He woke you up this morning. He gave you breathe. He gave you another day, another chance, another opportunity to do something with what he already placed in your hands. We've been conditioned to think that faith means sitting still, hoping something will fall out of the sky. But real faith moves. Real faith acts. Real faith is not passive. It's not waiting with crossed arms. It's waiting with rolled up sleeves. It's preparation. It's planning. It's showing up when nothing looks promising. It's building before the rain, just like Noah. He didn't wait until the clouds formed. He built the ark when there wasn't a drop of rain in the sky. That's faith. That's action. That's obedience. And obedience always precedes overflow. So many of us are asking God for more. More blessings, more open doors, more favor. But if you don't learn how to manage what you have now, why would God give you more? Why would a wise God pour his abundance into a vessel that leaks? Why would he expand your territory when you haven't taken care of the little patch you've already been given? You're asking for the next level, but have you mastered this one? Have you stewarded your time, your gift, your energy, your resources? Or have you been burying your talent in the ground, waiting for a better season? To invest in what you already have, that's not faith. That's fear dressed up in spiritual language. That's procrastination pretending to be patience. God responds to movement, to alignment, to preparation. You want him to bless your business, start building the business plan. Start developing your skill, start organizing your structure. You want to be a leader? Then start leading where you are. Stop waiting for a stage. Lead in your home, lead in your circle, lead in your attitude. Lead with excellence where nobody is watching. Because if you're too big to serve, you're too small to lead. We have too many people praying for outcomes they haven't positioned themselves to receive. It's not that God doesn't want to bless you. It's that your hands are full of excuses. Your calendar is filled with distractions. Your heart is cluttered with fear. You've got to make room. You've got to stretch. You've got to clean out the habits, the people, the mindsets that are choking the flow of your obedience. Because faith is not just believing that God can, it's living like He will. God is not a genie. He doesn't exist to grant your wishes. He is a father, a builder, a planner, and He partners with preparation. You see, the miracle of the loaves and fish didn't happen until someone brought something to the table. The oil didn't flow in the widow's house until she brought the empty vessels. Water didn't turn to wine until they poured it into the jars. The pattern is clear. God moves when you move. Miracles manifest where preparation meets obedience. You say, I'm waiting for clarity. But clarity often comes after commitment, not before. Some of you are sitting still because you want every step revealed before you take the first one. But that's not how faith works. Sometimes you have to walk it out in the dark. Sometimes you have to move when it's messy. Sometimes you have to step forward when all you have is a whisper from God and a fire in your belly. You think you need more confirmation, but God is saying you need more courage. You keep saying, God, send me a sign, and He's saying, I already sent you strategy. Strategy is better than signs. Strategy is what you do when the feelings fade. Strategy is how you stay consistent when the excitement dies down. Strategy is how you keep building, brick by brick, when the world is asleep. Faith without works is dead. You can't just speak it. You've got to structure it. You've got to write the vision and make it plain. You've got to manage your morning like your destiny depends on it. You've got to train your body, feed your mind, guard your heart, discipline your habits, align your circle. You're not just waiting on God. He's waiting on you to act like you believe what you prayed for. What if the door is already open, but you haven't walked through it because fear convinced you it was locked? What if the delay is not denial, but a test of your diligence? What if the answer to your prayer is buried beneath the daily disciplines you've been avoiding? God is not hiding your blessing. He's waiting to see if you're ready for it. Because promotion without preparation is a setup for collapse. God is too loving to give you a crown if you haven't learned how to carry the weight of character. He's too wise to give you increase if you haven't mastered integrity. So stop asking Him to do for you what He's already empowered you to do for yourself. This is your moment to act, to move, to prepare. Not next week, not when you feel better, not when it's easier, right now. Don't let another day slip by calling in faith what is actually fear. You've prayed, now push. You've hoped, now hustle. You've dreamed. Now do. Every day you wake up with a choice to push now or to regret later. There is no neutral ground. Time is not standing still waiting for you to feel ready. Time is moving, with or without your participation. And every minute you spend putting off what you know you should be doing, you are silently agreeing to carry the weight of regret tomorrow. You think waiting is safe, but waiting can be a thief. It doesn't just steal opportunities. It steals momentum, confidence, strength, and joy. Procrastination is not just a bad habit. It's a slow death to your dreams. It disguises itself as I'll do it later, but later becomes never. And while you keep postponing, your purpose keeps fading into the background of your comfort zone. You were not born to live in delay. You were born to take dominion. You were created to move, to build, to act, to conquer. But life doesn't reward people who hesitate. It rewards those who decide. You've already got the vision. You've already heard the call. The next move is on you. Push now. Push when you don't feel like it. Push when you're tired. Push when you've failed. Push when it hurts.
because the cost of not pushing is far greater than the pain of discipline.
If you don't push yourself now, you will pay in regrets that last a lifetime. And let me tell you, regret is heavier than sweat. It lingers longer. It talks louder. It shows up when the noise of life fades and whispers, "You could have done more." You can fool the world with smiles and slogans, but you can't fool your soul. Your soul knows when you're holding back. It knows when you've given 60% instead of 100%. It knows when you've stayed silent when you should have spoken up. And over time, that internal awareness becomes the quiet ache of regret. A life that looks good on the outside but feels empty on the inside. So while you're busy convincing yourself that you need more time, someone else is building with less. Someone else is doing more with fewer resources, fewer connections, fewer reasons to succeed. But what they have is the one thing you keep putting off: action. And action always outperforms intention. Some of you are waiting for the pain to pass, but hear me, pain isn't always your enemy. Sometimes pain is your coach. Sometimes pain is the push. Pain says this matters. Pain says keep going. Pain says you're stretching. And yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it's tiring, but if you keep pushing through the pain, purpose will meet you on the other side. You think pressure is a sign to pause. No, pressure is the signal to persist. Diamonds are not born in luxury. They're made under pressure. Muscles don't grow in rest. They grow under resistance. The strongest parts of you are being built in the hardest parts of your journey. So don't ask for the pain to go away. Ask for the strength to push through it. Stop putting off the uncomfortable work. Stop saying tomorrow I'll start. When you know good and well tomorrow is where dreams go to die, you've already postponed enough. You've already waited too long. You are not too late, but every day you choose comfort over calling, delay over discipline, fear over faith. You are digging yourself into a deeper pit of regret, and let me tell you something. You don't get time back. There are no refunds on wasted seasons. The world doesn't pause while you figure it out. Life doesn't rewind for you to start over. But you can start now. You can redeem the time by refusing to let another day slip through your fingers. You can make a decision today that your future self will stand up and applaud. You won't always feel motivated. You won't always feel inspired. You won't always feel ready. But greatness doesn't wait for your feelings to catch up. It demands movement, even when your emotions are screaming stop. That's why discipline is a decision, not an emotion. It's waking up and showing up when everything in you wants to shut down. Push now, because delay becomes your default if you don't decide otherwise. Push now, because people are counting on the version of you that hasn't fully shown up yet. Push now, because there's purpose inside you that won't activate until you act. Push now, because your legacy depends on what you choose today, not what you plan to do someday. You want change, you've got to move. You want growth, you've got to grind. You want purpose, you've got to push. This is not the season to shrink. This is not the time to make excuses. This is the hour to rise, to run, to press forward like everything is on the line. Because it is. If you want to look back 5 years from now and say, I'm glad I started, then you've got to stop saying, I'll start later. The future is shaped by what you do now, not what you wish, not what you pray for without work, not what you tell others you'll do, but what you actually rise up and execute. Push now, make it happen, because if you don't, you will always wonder what could have been, and that's a burden too heavy for your spirit to carry. You weren't made to live wondering, you were made to live winning. Now, hear me, and hear me with your heart. There comes a moment in every person's life when the mirror becomes a battlefield, when you've got to look yourself in the eyes and ask, am I going to settle for what's comfortable, or am I going to push myself and make it happen? You can't borrow greatness. You can't wish your way into purpose. You've got to work your way into it. You've got to fight through distractions, push past disappointments, conquer laziness, master your mind. Confront your excuses and move, not tomorrow, not next week, now. Everything God placed inside you is still in you. The gift is still alive. The potential is still real. But it's going to take discipline, endurance, courage, and action. You will cry some days. You will want to quit. You will feel overlooked, underappreciated, and misunderstood. But you've got to push anyway. You've got to decide that you'd rather be exhausted from purpose than comfortable in regret. Let the world sleep if it must. You've got work to do. You've got something to build, something to birth, something to bless this world with, and it won't come by chance. It won't come by luck. It will come because you pushed yourself when no one was watching, because you showed up when quitting would have been easier, because you refused to let pain, fear, or excuses become your legacy. So I leave you with this final charge. Push yourself. Make it happen. Don't just talk about it. Don't just pray about it. Be about it. Move now, because your future is waiting. Your destiny is calling. And the only thing standing between you and the life you were created to live is the push you're willing to give today. Let's go.